Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Sketch Card Hive. So today we're going to be talking about what does it mean to downsize your collection. If you haven't noticed, there are plenty of people in the hobby right now who are deciding to let go of big portions of their collections. They're trying to figure out, what do I no longer want? How do I offload this thing? How do I keep what I really want? And how do I fund future purchases? So today we're going to talk about the 5 things that you can do to better downsize your collection. Now remember, these 5 things are just things that I do personally. None of this is a rule. You collect however you want to collect. But I'm here to share with you some of the things I've been doing recently to kind of round out how I want my collection to look in the future. So let's go over the 5 things to consider before downsizing your collection.
So this right here is the Pelican case in my office that houses probably all of the essential cards to my surfer collection. When you're thinking about downsizing, this is the stuff you will never touch, right? This is the stuff that ride or die, whatever it may be, this is the stuff you keep and hold on to as long as you possibly can. That's what I house here. This always is last resort, house on fire kind of situation thing. And the reason for that are a couple of things. There are things that I can't find or replace. Like, for instance, there are things in here that are just never going to be able to be found again and looked at. So I'm not going to go ahead and sell them because I can never get them again. Even if they went cheaper, I just couldn't find them. And that's a big part of the 5-year rule, right? What is something I don't want to hunt for or don't perceive I'll be able to get in 5 years? Now, being that this is a lot of safe things, the reason they're safe is not only because I can't replace them, but also because they are things that are helping achieve one of my more major goals in my collection, which is my completion goal of my master collection of the Silver Surfer character collection between the very first card he had up to 2015. Now, I stopped at 2015 for a very specific reason. Now, I didn't want to go past the 2016 mark because my value for those cards after 26 is extremely high, and so is a lot of other people. I didn't want to be in spending that much money on a collection and having it sit here, stopping me from being able to purchase cards that I believe in more, that mean more to me as a collector, because I just aesthetically like them more, right? So how close are you to your end-all goal, right? Which is item number 2 on the ticket of how to downsize your collection. Where are you, right? Where are you in your collecting habit? What is something that's important to you in the future? How do you want this to actually look, right? So much about collecting, in my opinion, has to be creative, has to be something where you sit down and say, okay, I hit these 3 benchmarks, right? And these 3 benchmarks basically round out my collection. And it says something about me as the collector and my care and attention towards this character, this set, this artist, right? And I think you have to start making those bigger decisions. And that's what it means to be a collector, not just simply someone who is kind of just being pulled into this crazy card collecting world that we're all part of now, right? So in downsizing, the 5-year rule, which basically you're saying to yourself, okay, in 5 years, do I still want to hunt this, right? Does I still want this in my collection? Will this be something important to me in 5 years? And the second one, which we just talked about, which was basically, what do I have currently? Where's my collection sit? What do I need left to make this thing feel complete to me? Now, I know the first thing out of a lot of people's mouth is going to be, well, it's never complete for me. I just want to be collecting my whole life. For me, and this is just me, I like building a collection that can sit by itself while still having things being added on. I don't want the chase to be my whole experience when collecting. Now, let's move on to the third thing. The third thing is value in holding. So what does that mean? All of you who know this, who've been collecting cards or any kind of hobby, understand that there are certain items in your collection that are going to hold the value, right? And then there's some items in your collection that are going to hold value, and this is where the speculation comes in, for a period of time. For me, I kind of meet in the middle, right? When I look at anything in my collection, whether I'm deciding to hold it, to value, and how I value it correctly, hopefully, right, is I try to understand, is this card going to be a piece of my collection or a piece of history, right, where it's going to build up in value or continue to have a small or a big group of people chasing X insert X card type.
Those are big decisions. Those are things that you kind of have to really take in consideration before you're making a big sale. So that's where I look at value and holding to try to make a better assessment of what I do with my collectibles when deciding to downsize my collection, or better word, refocus. So the fourth thing on the list is the chase. This is where it gets a little tricky. All right, number 4 on the list is the chase. Now the chase is difficult. Certain cards are just not going to come up again. Sketches, plates, cuts, anything below out of 10. I've been around long enough to know that when you pass on something at those levels, you're usually waiting a year, 3 years, maybe never for those cards to resurface, unless you're hunting them down, hit up the collector. And most of the times that collector's not going to want to sell because they've been chasing that card just as long as you have. For instance, these 3 cards here, which I'm just obsessed with, are, 3 sketches: Mandalorian, Donnie, Batman here, right? These are the amazing artists. Mike Henley is the Batman, and there's Bob, and there's Dan. These are just fantastic pieces of art, and they're one of ones. Also, looking at the artists and the value and what they charge for APs is another consideration I take when I'm buying something that I know I'm not going to be able to find again. These 3 I would not sell because I know for a fact once they're gone, right? They're essentially one of ones. That's the chase. When downsizing your collection, make sure that the thing you're giving up, you don't want to find again. That you're not going to want to find in a year, in a month, in a week. Take a second, absorb it, think about it, think how long it took you to get the thing, and what's going to give you peace of mind once you let the card go. The main focus here with downsizing any collection is that it should always be the first consideration, which is, am I going to miss this thing? Am I going to need this back again when I inevitably change my mind or I make a new tactic in my collection? Sometimes it's unavoidable, but really thinking about how difficult the chase might be helped me kind of be okay with letting certain pieces go. Number 5, memories/friends. This is kind of the part of the downsizing video that's probably the most important. Of course, like any good YouTuber, I leave it at the end of the video. This is the moment where you need to really consider what are the cards that kind of bring you back those memories in which you originally started chasing. What is that feeling that first brought you back into trading cards, specifically Marvel, right? What character, what set, what artist brought you back to that initial love? Those are the cards that are precious. Those are the pelican cases to bring it all back again. Those are the things to hide away in these little treasure troves, things that you can come back to year after year, month after month, or like most of us, day after day, look at it and be like, oh man, what a cool thrill that was to grab that one card, or to, finally find this missing piece of the puzzle to my bigger collection. Now, usually what's connected to this memory or this found object is community. And for most of us, the hobby is really only half fulfilled until we find our people, right? Until we find our hobby group, our close friends who understand what it means when you pull a rare card when everyone else is looking at you like you have a horn on your head, right? These are the people who are important to your life. See what they're collecting. See what they have in their collections, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're collecting so differently, so beyond what you originally started doing, that all of a sudden you don't have these conversations anymore. You can't come to these people. These conversations, these communities we build from our past memories are things that continue to make the hobby fun and enjoyable. So when downsizing your collection, consider these 5 things. Take a step back. Remember, it's supposed to be for fun. I hope this video on downsizing helped you out. These 5 tips are just 5 little things I do when I decide year to year where I'm going with the collection, what I'm doing, how to keep it uniformed and still fun for me and still exciting and still creative. Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye, everybody.